It's Kentucky Derby Day across the country. Congratulations to American Pharoah. You know, the Mets had their horse on the mound last night, and he did a pretty good job in shutting down the Nats. Horses everywhere, and inside the ballpark, it's all about a gnome. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the Washington Nationals. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Nats. The Nats won the opening game Thursday night. The Mets behind Matt Harvey won last night 4-0. And the Mets expanded their lead late in the game on a big hit by Daniel Murphy. Murphy is now playing third base, has not hit for much of an average this year, but boy, has he had some big hits.
And you know what's been great is some of the breaks have been going his way. Worth misplayed that ball to left. It turned into a bases clearing double. He's been outstanding so far with the bases loaded. And remember, in spring training, Kevin Long, with his communal batting approach, was for everyone to be kind of a team hitting concept, come up with the big hits. Remember, Murphy was always the guy that hit in that second hole, hit in the lineup, early in the lineup. Now he's in the fifth hole, sixth hole. He's a guy that usually gets 180 hits. Maybe those hits this year will turn into 100 RBI.
And he starts the night fourth in the National League in RBIs. We'll see if he can help support John Neese tonight. Mets have not fielded well behind Neese this year, and he really struggled his last start against the Yankees.
He did struggle in that Sunday game of the World. I think the most important thing for Jonathan Neese is to recognize what a great opportunity he has. He's a left-hander that has an assortment of pitches. He's in between guys like DeGrom and Harvey, Syndergaard and Matz when they come up. It's a great opportunity for him to be a little different from all of those hard throwers and get some big wins for the Mets.
And on the other side, another lefty coming off a tough start in Gio Gonzalez.
Well, Gio Gonzalez is one of those pitchers when things are going right, he can really shut you out. It did not go right, as you see the numbers in his last start. Gio, through a 3-year period, won 52 ball games. He is a very capable left-hander, but he's been a .500 pitcher the last couple of years.
And he's always pitched well here at Citi Field. That's the task for the Mets tonight. Couple of lefties on the second day of May. Mets and Nats, all the action coming up on Pix 11. Get in your comfort zone with the most advanced Elantra yet. Visit your Hyundai dealer today. By Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. By Land Rover, above and beyond. By McDonald's, stop by for one of the new 100% sirloin third-pound burgers starting at $4.99. Price and participation may vary. by Royal Caribbean. The only way to Caribbean is with Royal Caribbean. And by the Honda Dream Garage sales event now at your Honda dealer. Get to Citi Field Saturday, May 16th when the Mets take on the Brewers at 7:10. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets fedora, courtesy of Select Spider. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Super Saturdays. You don't get the Crocodile Dundee hat.
7 3/4, please.
This is the game brought to you by Hyundai. I believe we have a horse racing theme.
I did not have American Pharoah in the Kentucky Derby, so I'll be doing this part of the broadcast for free. Jonathan Neese, 0-3 against the Nationals last year. That's got to get better. The Mets got better last night with Harvey pitching. Ian Desmond, it says Ian Stewart there, but Ian Stewart's not even playing well either. But Ian Desmond has been struggling. You see hitless in his last 29 at-bats in his free agent walk year. And then down the stretch, Familia was unbelievable for 5 outs last night.
I believe my horse just crossed the finish line. John Neese hoping to finish first tonight. His first pitch coming right up. Mazda is KeyBB.com's lowest cost to own brand over 5 years. First base coach Tommy Goodwin carrying the lineup card for the Mets tonight. Meeting at home plate with the umpires. And Mark Wiedemeyer, who's what coach for the Nationals?
He's like a strategic coach, Gary. He's the one in charge of positioning.
He's got the charts, moves the defense, flips the pages in the loose leaf.
Now he's got the lineup. I don't know if he's making enough.
John Neese taking the mound for his 5th start of the year tonight, looking to bounce back from a not so fun night at Yankee Stadium.
9-11 last year, 54-52 in his career. He looked ready to go. Both these pitchers, Gio Gonzalez and Jonathan Neese, both have great curveballs. Be interesting to see how much they use it tonight.
That's lineup brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. Second straight night, Denard Span will sit. Span has some soreness in his core where he had surgery earlier this year. Danny Espinosa starts for the second time in the series at second base. Otherwise, the same guys out there for the Nats. They're still waiting for Anthony Rendon, who had to be scratched from his rehab start tonight. He's got a problem with his side. He originally had a knee injury, so they need him back. He's their best hitter.
He is their best hitter, and he's a real good infielder also. Does damage against Jonathan Neese. I see Jonathan's numbers so far, 2-1, 2.74, despite not a great start on Sunday night, but the team behind him, it was a sloppy game for the Mets in general.
Mets have made 8 errors behind Nice this year. That's more than any other major league pitcher has had made behind him. That game Sunday night, the Mets made 4 errors, and they need to tighten some things up. Of course, they changed their infield defense last night, and the move of Daniel Murphy to third base and bringing up Dilson Herrera certainly looked like it paid off.
Well, look at the defense brought to you by the all-new Kia Soul. Juan Lagares is going to have to cover a lot of room. Kadire and Mayberry short-handed, but they are not fleet of foot. In the infield last night, Harvey got 12 outs on the ground. Daniel Murphy had 1 chance, played it flawlessly. And behind the plate today is going to be Anthony Recker, Jonathan Nice on the mound. And one thing I can say about the Mets starting pitchers, all of them do a good job of fielding their position.
Michael Taylor filling in for the injured Denard Span, getting set to lead off for the Nats. Dan Bellino is going to call the balls and strikes tonight. Bruce Dreckman, Tom Hallion, the crew chief, and Alfonso Marquez rounding out the crew on a clear night in New York. Still some sunshine around. Temperature in the 50s as we approach game time.
Umpires got their heavy jackets on and some gloves, though, anticipating some cooler weather. Not Dan Bellino behind the plate. He'll be fine.
Michael Taylor 2 for 6 in the series. We got the glove use by Alfonso Marquez down at third base. And John Nice getting set to get the festivities going. His first pitch of the night to Taylor is swung and missed, and we're underway. Did you ever throw anything but a fastball to start a game?
Late in my career, yes, I had to. Sorry. It was when it got ugly, I went to the curveball on first pitch.
Nice runs a fastball inside to Taylor, 1-1. John gave up 6 runs in 5 innings against the Yankees. A couple of them were unearned. The Mets had all sorts of defensive problems in that game. Taylor lifts one to right. John Mayberry playing out there. Back to get it one way. So Taylor flies out to start the night. And now Yunel Escobar, the number 2 hitter. Escobar 3 for 9 in this series. The Nats as a team are hitting just .224 against left-handed pitching. This is the 6th time they've faced a lefty starter this year. Crowd still filling in at Citi Field. Should be just about a full house when they're all here, or at least back from Shake Shack. Nice turning his head to handle the comebacker and gets the out. Well, Nice caught a line drive in his last start that basically caught him. This one, I think, fooled him a little bit, and he turned his head.
Well, I just said that the Mets pitchers field their position well. Jonathan is in a good spot. What happens sometimes, that ball comes off the bat. It looks like it's hit harder than it is. It's a little bit of a changeup, and I think that's what happened to John.
The one in his last start that Mark Teixeira hit, he caught at his hip, and the glove fortunately was just in the right place. Something I don't know if you can really plan.
That'll happen sometimes. It's just your glove ends up where the ball is.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jason Worth. Worth 2 for 9 in the series. Worth had the embarrassment of stumbling in left field in the 8th inning last night that enabled the Mets to score 3 extra runs. Making a transition from right field to left field, and it sounds like no big deal, but Worth looks a little shaky out there.
It's a big deal. He's had a couple of miscues since he's come back. He was such a great right fielder. And remember, one of his strengths, we saw it all the time, was going to his hand side, opposite his glove side. And that's a play in left field you don't really make a lot because there's not a lot of foul territory.
He's behind him 3-0 with Bryce Harper on deck.
I mean, it's obvious, but really controlling these 3, 4, 5 hitters, Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman, is going to be the big key for Nice. If he does it, he'll have a good game. Hasn't had much success against any of them. Lifetime numbers against the Nats: 3-3, 3.41. But last year, 0-3, 5.82 against Washington. And Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman all hit him well. He's gone from 3-0 to 3-2 against Worth. Hit toward the hole past Herrera. A 2-out hit for Worth. Well, when Worth is at his best, he tries to take you deep early in the count, and if he gets to 2 strikes, he goes the other way. So when you see him getting these kinds of hits, as you see that super slow-mo coming out of the hand of Jonathan, it's supposed to be a little cutter, ended up right in the middle of the plate. No chance for Herrera, hit too sharply.
So Worth at first and 2 out, and now Bryce Harper. Harper had a big game Thursday night, but struggled last night against Matt Harvey. Did walk, but then got caught stealing. Went 0 for 3. And what these two lefties, Nice and Gonzalez, have in common coming into the night, they have both struggled against left-hand hitters this year.
They haven't, either of them, been able to really establish their curveball early in this season. That'll be the difference maker against the left-handed hitter.
Lefty's hitting .313 against Nice. They're hitting .345 against Gio. Here's the changeup down, the ball and a strike to Harper.
So last night we watched Matt Harvey take advantage of Harper on that pitch up and away. John Nice can't take advantage of that because he doesn't throw hard enough.
Harvey only struck out 3 last night, but one of them was against Harper. And there's the curveball from Nice to get ahead.
Yeah, 3 breaking pitches now to Harper to get to 1-2. Good one. Like I said last night, to Harper, not as good against left-handed pitching, still a good breaking ball hitter.
4 for 17 against lefties so far this year. He's been their best hitter early in the season. 9th in the league in on-base percentage. 4th in the league in runs scored. He's gotten on base 17 straight games now. Ryan Zimmerman would be next. One-two from Nice, and the curveball drilled down the right field line, but just foul.
Not throw this young man breaking pitches, especially big, slow curveballs on the plate. Jonathan shaking his head. It's all right to bounce it. You can get him to swing over the top of it. But it's a real strength, his ability to hit the breaking pitch. It's got to be outside and down. It's middle, almost in.
This time Recker moves away, and the pitch is inside, so he's missed completely with his fastball location there. 2-2.
Nice doesn't throw it often, but he could bounce a change if he wanted to. It's another pitch he could use.
7th pitch of the at bat to Harper, and he misses away with the fastball. Full count. Duda will play behind Worth at first base. See, Harper has already drawn 23 walks. His walk rate this year is double what it was last year. He's been much more patient. Worth runs, and the curveball misses for ball 4, and the Nats have 2 men on. So Nice got ahead of Harper, but lost him to an 8-pitch walk. And now Zimmerman will come up with 2 men on, and Daniel Murphy's going to go to the mound to talk to Nice.
Well, that's a really good time for Daniel to come in, because looking at Jonathan's body language, it looked a little like he was quizzical out there. He wasn't sure what to throw Harper in that at bat. He's going to have to turn it around here against Zimmerman.
So Harper reaches base for an 18th straight game. That's a career high for him. Worth at second, Harper at first, and 2 out. And now Zimmerman, who's 3 for 8 in this series. And a double against Harvey last night off the center field fence. And you see his numbers against Nice. He's done very well against John. So a big spot early in this game for Nice. See a little bit of sunlight right on the hitter. Almost like a spotlight.
Gary showing this infield defense. Herrera's got to hold the runner Worth at second. See, so that's why Duda has pushed way off that bag, trying to close that hole between first and second just a little bit.
Zimmerman goes after the changeup. 1-1.
We're used to seeing Jonathan Nice in the first inning. You usually use cutter, cutter, cutter. Now has used all of his pitches here in the first inning against this Nats lineup.
Changeup's become a much more important weapon for him against right-hand hitters. Didn't use it much against a left-hand laden Yankee lineup last Sunday. One to Zimmerman. He's blown away with the fastball. 2-1. John Nice, 28 years old. Born on the date that the Mets last won the World Series in 1986.
See record touching everything, Gary, touching his helmet, touching his chest protector. That means nothing. Some people think that the catcher is giving a sign to the pitcher what sign we're going to use. First, second, or third sign. It has nothing to do with anything. It's to throw off the runner at second base for the most part. If you had a catcher that could do all that and then put all the pitches down, you'd have cross-ups all game long.
You need a calculus major.
Exactly.
Two on, two out, 2-2 to Zimmerman. And it's away, ball 3. Third straight full count for Nice. He gave up a single to Worth on a full count. He walked Harper. And now 3-2 to Zimmerman with Ramos on deck. So an automatic start for Worth and Harper. And a laboring first inning for John Nice. 3-2 coming. And he taps the changeup foul. Interesting pitch selection there.
A 3-2 curveball to Harper. A 3-2 changeup here to Ryan Zimmerman.
Well, Nice saw his fastball get hit regularly in that game last Sunday night. And trying to change the game plan a little bit. About to throw his 25th pitch of the inning. Runners get set to go. And Zimmerman pops one foul, and they'll do it again. 92 from John, the hardest pitch he's thrown so far.
Well, I think that when you look at John's career record at 54 and 52, Gary, I almost give him a push because he's played for some Mets teams that have not been good. But pitching for this team now, that's a good ball club, a strong ball club trying to get better, got to do better than 500. Maybe that's why he's changing his game plan.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Zimmerman lines it to center. On comes Lagares. Side retired. Nice works around trouble in the opening inning. Mets will have Mayberry, Lagares, and Duda coming up in the bottom of the first against Gio Gonzalez. No score at Citi Field. John Mayberry will give Curtis Granderson a spell against the lefty and take Granderson's spot in the batting order. Second time in his career Mayberry has hit leadoff. Second game for Dilson Herrera. He hits in the 6th hole. Ruben Tejada gets a spot start. So does Anthony Recker. And that's what the Mets will send up against 29-year-old Gio Gonzalez.
Well, you see his numbers so far this season. More hits than innings pitched. A lot of walks for Gio. One thing to watch. He's a guy that can throw a 3-hit shutout against you. But also, if the umpire is not giving him some pitches, he can get upset very quickly. Very temperamental.
Pitched in his hometown his last time out. It didn't go well down in Miami. Gave up 6 runs and 10 hits in 6 innings.
John Mayberry making his 5th start for the Mets. 3 for 19 in the Mets uniform with 1 home run. Mets got Mayberry for one specific reason. He's always been successful against left-handed pitching. And
Gio is no exception. Mayberry with a couple of home runs in his career against Gonzalez in 19 at bats. It's been right at the second baseman Espinosa, and that's the first out.
And the Washington look at their defense, brought to you by the all-new Kia Soul. The outfield, you saw the arm of Bryce Harper last night. Just the best arm, one of the best arms in baseball. In the infield, Desmond's really the story so far this year, Gary. And with 9 errors. And Wilson Ramos throws extremely well behind the plate. 4 of 12 runners have been thrown out by Ramos.
Beautiful sunny day in New York, cooling down as we reach the evening. Juan Lagares takes a fastball for a strike. Lagares 3 for 8 in this series, 429 over his last 7 games, and back over 300 for the year. And he hits one up the middle, and he's got himself a 1-out hit. Well, Lagares again using the center and right side of the field to get himself a hit.
Well, early in the season, you see that changeup grip. I love it from that center field camera. And usually Gio's changeup will dive down and away from the right-handed hitter. That stayed pretty true. Hit off the end of the bat by Lagares, but still hard enough for a base hit.
So the Mets with a 1-out base runner. Lucas Duda steps in, and it's become a no-brainer now that Lucas is in the lineup against lefties. He's been that successful early in the season against southpaws. Hit 180 against lefties last year, hitting 455 early this season.
Well, the hard part for Terry Collins is when he looks at his lineup and says, who am I going to give a day off to? He immediately eliminates Lucas. He's got to be in the lineup.
He's only hit 2 home runs this year, but getting on base consistently, a .420 on base percentage coming into the night. Michael Kadire has homered in 2 of his last 3 games on deck, and that fact should get Lucas some more pitches in the strike zone.
Smacks one toward the left field line. A long run for Worth. He won't get there. Digging for third, Lagares. He's being waved home. The relay throw by Desmond to the plate on a hop, and Ramos tags Lagares out. 2 good throws. Worth got it out of the corner to Desmond, and Desmond a 1-hop strike to the plate. And Lagares thrown out on the double by Duna.
Well, first, good hitting by Lucas here. The ball away, he goes away with it. That ball off the left-handed bat is going to work its way away from Worth. One thing Worth does, though, he gets to it quickly, he hits the cutoff man, and Desmond has one of the best arms as a shortstop in the game. The other thing I would think about here is that, Gary, you mentioned the numbers Kadire has. Tim Tuffle should have known those numbers. That really was a risky play, sending Lagares.
By the way, Ramos was blocking the plate before he had the ball. I mean, the runner was out by 15 feet, but he was blocking the plate before he had the ball. So technically, he was in violation. Here's Kadire, and it's taken outside ball 1, which only proves how silly the rule is. We
had this the last time you and I did a 2-man booth.
Kadire homered last night to give the Mets their first and what would prove to be the only run they would need. He's homered in 2 of the last 3 games, and he takes the changeup outside 2-0.
Well, Lagares reads it right away. Oh boy, that's interesting. Giving too much credit to Jason Worth, thinking he was going to catch the baseball. So really, Lagares, not good base running. You could read that pretty quickly. That was going to be a base hit. Like I said before, Desmond has an outstanding arm. Throws that a little off balance, but perfect 1-hopper, and nowhere for Lagares to go. That right foot right on the plate.
Yeah, that head first slide into home plate into shin guards, not recommended. 3-0 to Kadire with Murphy on deck. And Gonzalez pitching carefully to Kadire, issues his first walk. So the Mets with 2 hits and a walk among their first 4 batters. Nothing to show for it yet. And now Daniel Murphy. Murphy had the big 3-run double last night that put the game away for New York late. Now with 17 runs batted in, tied for 4th in the National League, and much of that damage done with the bases loaded. He's got 2 men on base here.
Well, you've always considered Murph a second place hitter in this Mets lineup, a guy that is a table setter. Now he's a guy that's being asked to drive in runs. So far, so good.
Murph hitting just .212 overall, but .375 with runners in scoring position. And he's got a chance here with 2 on and 2 out. Nats stranded 2 in the top of the first. And a nice knockdown by Ramos on a curveball in the dirt. 1-0.
Well, Ramos, we've seen in the first couple games in this series, just outstanding. I mean, that's a little lucky there, but there's no way he could have got his body out in front, so he made like an infielder.
Duda at second, Kadire at first, and 2 out. Murphy just 1 for 15 against left-handers this year. Usually a lot better than that. And he takes a strike.
You know, a lot of talk was about Worth misjudging this, but I like it. What an at-bat against a tough pitcher in Trinan by Daniel Murphy. That was a bullet, even if it was caught by Worth.
Even if Worth catches that ball, it's still a sacrifice fly, and the Mets get an insurance run, which was what they were looking for. Instead, they got 3. That one skips away from Ramos, and the runners will move up. Just a fastball from Gio. And now the Mets have 2 in scoring position.
You know, I say it all the time. What happens to catchers when they call a fastball, they never anticipate getting down in front of it. Why? Because these are big league pitchers. They shouldn't be bouncing a fastball, but Gio did there.
First wild pitch of the year for Gonzalez. So now Basic could play to pair. Murph has good numbers against Gonzalez, 6 for 17.
Be interesting to see if Murph sees a pitch here with a rookie on deck.
Wilson Herrera, that rookie. And Murphy grounds one down to first. Zimmerman waits for Gonzalez, and that retires the side. So each team strands a pair in the first inning. No score after 1. Looking from Queens to the west, and there's your impending sunset. I think we've got it all covered now.
I took the train home last night. No one was on the train. I must have just missed where everyone piled in after the game and got the next one.
33,000?
Yeah.
And you didn't have any of them.
It was good timing.
Wilson Ramos leads off in the second and takes a strike on a cutter from Nice. Ramos 2 hits last night, his usual 2 against the Mets. Lifetime .336 hitter against Mets pitching. 4 for 11 against Nice. Ramos, Desmond, and Espinosa against Nice, who required 26 pitches to get through a scoreless first inning. Ramos sitting at 289, a guy who's very hard to walk. He's only walked twice this year. Desmond on deck, going through one of the worst slumps of his career. And East didn't get the call on the outside corner. Tried to backdoor the cutter. 2-2.
I think it's a good call by Dan Bellino. I don't think that pitch came back over that outside corner. Close, though.
Comes inside and he misses. Another full count. That's 4 straight full counts for Neese, and that's not a formula for lasting deep into a game. Matt Harvey was able to keep things very efficient last night. 93 pitches in 7 innings. Changeup fouled at the plate. Another 3-2 changeup for Neese.
It's almost like Ramos seems, because he has so much success against the Mets, every close pitch goes his way. Every tough pitch on a 3-2 count, he fouls off to stay in the at bat.
And he's hot right now. 7-game hitting streak. 393 over the 7-game. And he goes down swinging. First strikeout of the night for John Neese.
You know, one of the most important things you have to do as a big league pitcher is that you have to work on throwing every pitch from the same spot. This is the cutter by Jonathan Neese. You can see how he's releasing that from the center field camera. The curveball, he's more on top. His arm is a little higher than that cutter. And then the changeup, you can really see how he drops down. So if we can see it here, it really is a tell for the opposing team. I thought that Johan Santana was one of the best I've ever seen in my life, being able to throw each pitch out of the same spot every time. That's why he was so good with that fastball changeup combination.
Desmond hits one toward the middle, off the bag and off Herrera's glove for a well-needed base hit for Desmond, who raises his arms as he reaches first base. He had been 0 for his last 29, so he has cause to celebrate.
What happens a lot of times is you get to first base after you've been 0 for 29. You'll get to first, and the guys on the bench will say, "Do you want the ball? Should we get the ball for you?" Nice try by Herrera off the bag.
Wasn't it Dave Winfield who was 0 for 21 or 0 for 22 in the World Series, and he asked for the ball when he finally got a hit?
Yeah. Winnie.
That was
bad form.
That was different. That was the worst transfer of a baseball in a World Series other than
Russ Ortiz.
Dusty Baker.
Curveball lined by Espinosa just beyond the reach of Murphy. A base hit for Danny Espinosa. So 2 balls off Met infielders' mitts produce a couple of hits for the Nats from the 7 and 8 hitter.
Well, you know that Danny Espinosa was thinking of giving up the switch hitting. He's a much better hitter, I think, from the right side. And there's that curveball action. You see the spin on it? It's kind of got a lazy spin, not that real rotation that you're looking for. Lazy spin produces line drives.
So 2 on and 1 out in a bunting situation for Gio Gonzalez. Gio's a lifetime 084 hitter, so almost certain that he'll be bunting here. There's 1 sacrifice this season. Not too far from the plate, but Recker has to go to first with it. 2-4 on the sacrifice, moving the runners up.
It started out looking like Recker might have a play at third, but the ball carried out a little. Nice play by Recker. And the interesting part was little Lucas Duda at first base had to go in the prone position to make sure that Recker didn't hit him with the ball.
You too?
Okay,
with the little Luke?
Oh, I like it. It's Keith's thing, but I like it.
Now, we should tell people that he's calling him Little Luke because there's some character.
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. I just like it. I won't do it anymore.
Oh, if
it bothers you.
Go right ahead. As long as it doesn't bother Lucas.
That's right.
Here's Michael Taylor, who flied out to right his first time up.
Watch this, Gary. So Recker makes the play. He's got to throw to first. Lucas gets all the way down.
Collapsible. He's worked out of a 2-on situation in the first inning. He's got 2 in scoring position here with 2 out.
And Taylor hits it hard. Murphy with a dive able to knock it down. A run will come in. It'll be an infield hit for Taylor, and it's 1-0 Washington.
Well, Murphy getting some hot shots hit in his direction in this inning. Got the glove on it. That saved one run, but couldn't make the connection to stop the other.
Well, couldn't get high enough for the first line drive and couldn't get far enough to his left to get that ball. Got some leather on it, but kind of hit it in the heel and popped out towards the shortstop Tejada.
Well, the ability to knock it down kept Espinosa from scoring. He's now at third on the infield hit by Taylor. And now Escobar, who had a comebacker his first time, takes a changeup for a strike. First run of the game brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. East finds the outside corner and gets ahead 0-2. 3 hits in this inning for the Nats. All 3 got a piece of a Met infielder's glove. There wasn't a single one that should have been played, but it just shows you how infinitesimal the difference is between a 1-2-3 inning and giving up 3 hits and a run. Early innings haven't been kind to Nice this year.
The difference, though, is when you're pitching, if you're a pitcher who pitches to contact, and that's what Jonathan is, he's not a big strikeout guy, you are trying to limit that contact where the velocity off the bat is not so swift that the fielders can't get to it.
You're looking for meager contact.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
There goes Taylor. Swung and missed. Good curveball by Nice to strike out Escobar and end the inning. Second strikeout for Nice. The Nats scratch out a run and lead 1-0 in the second. Some terrific sunset shots tonight. That is just brilliant. By the way, speaking of the sunshine, baseball on the beach coming back. Coney Island hosting the Brooklyn Cyclones for their 15th season starting Saturday, June 20th. Single game tickets on sale now. You can call 718-507-TIXX. Go to brooklyncyclones.com. Get your tickets at MCU Park or here at Citi Field. Dilson Herrera leads off in the home second. Herrera, playing his second game since being called up, was tearing up the Pacific Coast League, hitting .370. Went 0 for 3 and got drilled in the forearm by a pitch in his first game for the Mets this season last night. Tejada on deck, Recker behind him. And the curveball from Gio, and he's caught looking for the first out.
Well, that is a great equalizer for Gio. When he's got that pitch working, I call it the curve that is seldom swung at. See the rotation? You can almost see how different it is from Jonathan Neese's when he doesn't throw that good one. Lots of rotation, very quick rotation by Gonzalez.
So 1 out now. Ruben Tejada. Wilmer Flores has been struggling both in the field and lately at the plate, getting a night off tonight. Tejada has struggled in his own right. 0 for his last 9. He takes a strike. Terry Collins said before the game today he is even considered giving Flores tomorrow off as well. That's an off day on Monday, so that would be 3 days to kind of relax. But you don't want to send the message that you've lost confidence in him, so it's kind of a tough dividing line.
Well, what they did is that they made sure they communicated to Wilmer that they had to make sure they kept Tejada fresh in case, let's say that Wilmer sprained an ankle and missed a day or so. You needed Tejada to be in there and be ready to play.
1-2 to Ruben, and the curveball blooped the other way, and he's got himself a base hit. Harper thinking about throwing to first, but Tejada was wise to that and was not going to lollygag, and he's got himself a 1-out hit.
This breaking ball, a little lazier, just nice hitting by Tejada, though. That's what you want to do in that breaking ball. Wait as long as you can and hit it the other way. Nice job by Tejada.
Every once in a while, a pitcher will be thrown out on a 9-3 put out. If you're a position player and you get thrown out there, you just want to find a hole and crawl into it.
I told you, I saw Ed Lynch, who had a big offer working as a starting pitcher in San Francisco, finally get a base hit. Joel Youngblood was in right field and threw him out of first base. And that walk back from first all the way to the dugout in San Francisco, we had a lot of fun with it.
Mets at one time had Jeff D'Amico pitching for him. Jeff, huge guy, 6'7", 240. Base hit to right field against the Braves. B.J. Surhoff threw him out at first.
That's the worst right turn in the world.
You never hear the end of that, right?
Yes.
Some land office business being done at Keith's Grill tonight. Keith, man in the spatula there.
Keith's spatula days are over. They were over in 1979 when he won that big trophy.
Strike 3 called, and Rutgers caught looking. So 2 third strike calls for Gio Gonzalez in this inning.
Good fastball by Gio with something on it, right on that corner. Can't get a better pitch.
See, I could see Keith out of saying Harper manning the spatula, but maybe not at Keith's Grill.
Well, yeah, with a little rosé. I don't know if they have
something in his right hand. He got spatula in his left hand. John Neese has a couple of hits and 2 RBIs this year. Tejada at first and 2 out. And that one almost got behind Ramos. Another fastball that nearly got away.
It's the first time you ever heard a catcher kind of yelp behind the plate because he's surprised by that pitch from Gonzalez. That's Gio in a nutshell right there. Throws the ball almost to the backstop, and the next one splits the heart of the plate.
And he gets Neese with a curveball to end the inning. 3 strikeouts in that second inning for Gio Gonzalez. They're sizzling at Keith's Grill. It's a good sound. Gio Gonzalez tops out at 95 so far. Jonathan Neese at 92. And Gio's team has the lead as well, 1-0 as we go to the third. There's shades of Keith everywhere.
Keith jerseys.
The grill, the jersey. The Tootsie Pops in the booth.
The jerseys used to, one, there never used to be jerseys at a ballpark. No one had a jersey. But now, you have little kids with them and guys that are 50, 60 years old with them on.
Jason Worth takes outside. Well, there's an etiquette about wearing your team's jersey, right? You can wear a jersey of a current player.
Okay.
You can wear a jersey of a legendary player. But what about that in between? So you have a jersey of a player who gets traded off the end of the bat to Herrera with a lot of spin, and it throws out Worth one away.
I don't mind that because you never know what attachment they might have to that player. Maybe they know someone or they're related or something like that. The problem I have is when they have the jersey and they put their name on it. An iconic jersey and they put their own name on it.
Bryce Harper getting a negative reaction. See, wearing a Jerry Koosman jersey, that's tremendous, right?
Oh, horse racing. That's a good.
But say you had, trying to think of a guy who was here recently and it was no longer. So you had maybe Carlos Beltran jersey.
Okay.
Is it too early to wear your Beltran jersey back to the ballpark, or do you have to wait a few years?
Oh, you have to wait, especially since he plays in the other pinstripes. You have to wait.
See, but
he might be the only one he's got. He had to go with it, the black and blue.
By the way, that's a nice catch, guys. That took like 5 seconds for them to find that. Harper gets jammed terribly and rolls out to Herrera. I'm not sure we've seen Harper get jammed like that. Doesn't talk about it.
Yeah, he is. Well, this fastball is supposed to be on the outside corner, and Jonathan Neese, like Gio, occasionally will not throw it to the glove, and it crossed up the catcher and crossed up Harper.
I think Max Scherzer must have liked that because it looked like he hit it with that rolled up newspaper that Scherzer was talking about.
Max. Boy, he was fantastic last night, wasn't he?
He really was. And Kadire did well to take him out of the ballpark. But he showed why he was worth all that.
And listen, we're the Mets broadcast, so of course we're going to be talking about Harvey most of the time. But you can make the argument, other than that home run, that Scherzer might have outpitched Harvey last night. 10 strikeouts.
1-1 to Zimmerman, who lined to center field with a couple of men on to end the first. Neese looking for his first clean inning. Trouble in each of the first two. About to throw his 50th pitch of the night. And the curveball. Good one. 1-2 to Zimmerman.
There's Max.
Here's the heterochromic right-hander.
That's right. So it's interesting to have a conversation with him because you can't take your eyes off his eyes.
Right. And he likes it. It's a great conversation piece. There's one blue eye to one brown eye. It's a very unusual thing, and it doesn't bother him to talk about it at all.
Can't get a nicer person. He's just cream of the crop.
Up the middle, and Zimmerman's got a 2-out hit. Hit number 5 for the Nats off John Neese.
Well, we've seen a base hit the other way by Worth. We've seen a base hit now on an outside pitch by Zimmerman. These national hitters that we've known to be so talented are starting to get it going.
He's, I think, upset that he got that ball a little more up than he wanted it.
Down is the key with Zimmerman. Anything up is going to be a problem.
So now Wilson Ramos has struck out his first time up. Zimmerman not a base stealing threat, and was hit up the middle on the curveball beyond the reach of Tejada. So back-to-back 2-out hits for the Nats.
All these pitches finding the hole. Curveball, first pitch of the at-bat, and Ramos is all over it and finds a hole. The theme so far has been the pitches are up. See where these pitches are? They're thigh high to waist high. Those are the pitches that usually right-handed hitters especially will crush.
2 out and 2 on. Ian Desmond takes a fastball for a strike. Desmond snapped an 0 for 29 skid by banking one off the second base bag for a base hit and scored the only run of this game in the second.
So Nice has been dealing with traffic these first 3 innings. 6 hits and a walk already through 2 2/3. And he gets ahead on Desmond 0-2. Denny Espinosa, the number 8 hitter, would be next. Record out to talk to Nice.
Well, it's 0-2, so I can see Record coming out and making sure that they're on the same wavelength, because you can't afford a mistake here to Desmond. Even though he's had that big slump, when you face good hitters, they've gone through a huge slump, you know what you think? A lot of hits are coming.
Up and out of the strike zone.
Now, he's not going to double up high, because that's not Jonathan Nice. So the pitch he's going to throw now is either a changeup or a curveball down in the dirt.
And he goes with the curveball, gets the strikeout. 3rd of the 9th for Nice, and he works out of 3rd inning trouble. The Nats have already stranded 6. Mets down 1-0 in the 3rd. Gio Gonzalez has worked around 3 hits and a walk over the first 2 innings. Got helped out when Mets had a runner thrown out at the plate in the 1st inning. Top of the batting order, John Mayberry, who grounded out to second base his first at bat. And curveball sits high for ball 1. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy more shows on more screens. Time Warner Cable, enjoy better. And Gonzalez falls behind 2-0.
John Mayberry was kidding with Terry Collins, saying he was the tallest leadoff hitter probably in the game. Well, he might be in the game right now, but I was kiddingly looking up before the game. Tony Clark, the head of the Players Association, 6'8". Tony Clark led off 6 times in his career.
I don't know that there's ever been a taller position player than Tony Clark. Mayberry rifles one to left, but Worth is right there to grab it. 1 out. I mean, there have been a lot of pitchers taller than 6'8", Randy Johnson and such, but has there been a position player taller than Tony Clark?
I don't think so. I don't remember any. You know, usually the position players, if they're real tall, they're 6'4", 6'5".
Well, Mayberry's what, 6'5",
6'5", 6'6",
yeah. Tony Clark, of course, was briefly a Met.
That's right.
Now heading the Players Association.
Well, for Mayberry, hitting leadoff is a brand new affair. He had not done it ever until Terry Collins put him there a couple of weeks ago. This is now his second game back.
I don't know if we've explained it yet, but Terry Collins, who got a lot of his tutelage under Jim Leyland, one of the best managers in the history of the game, and Jim Leyland believed in, if you replace one of your regulars and put in a guy to hit that night and put him on the bench, you put him in the same spot. Because if they switch and go to a right-hander later in the game and you have to bat Grandy for Mayberry, you still have that right-handed, left-handed, left-handed, right-handed kind of combination.
And in Mayberry's case, the other explanation Terry had for batting in leadoff, something that Mayberry's never done before, and this made a lot of sense, and it had never occurred to me. Mayberry's here specifically against lefties. So you start him in a game against the lefty. Well, if you bat him down in the order, he might only face that lefty once or twice.
Yeah.
If you put him up in the order, then he's going to get maybe one more at bat against that lefty. Tough hop for Escobar to handle, and he throws out Lagares 2 away, and that made a lot of sense to me.
Really does. Like you said, he's here to hit left-handers. Took a great at bat. I have to say this. I have not always been a huge fan of Yunel Escobar because I didn't think he came to play hard every single day. I take that back here since he's been with the Nationals, playing hard every single day.
And now shifting against Lucas Duda, Escobar will move over to the right side. Think about Escobar. He was a shortstop, brought here to play second base, and then when Rendon was hurt to start the season, volunteered to go to third, and he's done a great job at third base. Duda hit a double down the left field line his first time up. And he's done a good enough job at third that there's every chance that when Rendon comes back, Rendon will play second, and they'll leave Escobar where he is.
Well, I don't know about moving Rendon to second. I know he did the job there, but he had almost an MVP kind of season at third base last year for the Nationals.
Duda cracks one to deep left center field. Back goes Worth deep in the gap, right near the wall to make the catch. And Duda with one extra base hit against the lefty tonight almost had himself another. Instead, Gio Gonzalez has a 1-2-3 third. 1-0 Nats. Sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 11th. Cardinals now 17-6 with their win over the Pirates today. The Brewers get their 6th win against 18 losses. Mike Fiers struck out 12 in 6 innings in their win in Chicago. And those red-hot Astros going for their 9th straight win, down 3-2 to Seattle. Nelson Cruz with his 12th home run in that game for the Mariners. 4th inning at Citi Field. Danny Espinosa will lead off against John Neese. Espinosa had a base hit in the 2nd inning when the Nats scored their run, and he takes a strike.
Remember 2 years ago, Nelson Cruz did not sign with Seattle. He signed with Baltimore because he was going to have a free agent year. He wanted to be in a home run hitting ballpark. Now he signs with Seattle. He can hit it out of anywhere.
Certainly has proven that. Hit hard and just beyond the reach of Herrera. Another base hit for Espinosa. Herrera's been diving all over the place. And line drives sailing by. So Espinosa's 2 for 2.
Espinosa looks like a different hitter from the right side, doesn't it, Gary? Going the other way. Ball hit very sharply. Again, another theme against John this evening is that the Nationals are hitting the ball hard.
It's their 7th hit in 3 innings plus. So now Gonzalez, who sacrificed his first time, will try and do it again.
Said he didn't go. Where was that pitch? Sometimes when the hitter fakes the bunt, it blocks the umpire, or they kind of, no, that's a ball. I'm wrong. Thought that pitch was in the zone.
Another good bunt by Gonzalez, and Neese will have to go to first with it. So 2 sacrifices tonight for Gio. 1-4, moving Espinosa to second. Well, John Neese in elite company as far as victories for Met left-handers. Number 6 on that all-time list.
You and I were having fun before the broadcast rating all the great left-handers that have pitched for the Mets.
Well, they've had some really good ones who weren't around long enough to be on that list.
Like Al Jackson.
Johan Santana.
That's right.
Mike Hampton.
Frankie V.
Right. Murphy holds the runner. Close play, and he gets Taylor by a stride. 2 out. Espinosa still at second. Yeah, Al Jackson was the first terrific lefty for the Mets. Problem for him wasn't longevity. It's the fact he played for some of the worst teams in history and, you know, had those 8-24 type years.
Yeah.
The Mets lost 110 or more 3 of their first 5 seasons. Think about that. 120 the first year. 3 times in the first 5 years they lost 110 or more. And the crowds just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Really?
Well, first 2 years were at the Polo Grounds. Then Shea opened in '64, and that gave them a boost. But there was a lovability factor just about that franchise in case of Stengel and the whole gestalt around that team that really attracted people.
How did Murph, Lindsay, and Ralph do it?
They looked straight ahead and called every pitch. A lot of enthusiasm. Tejada handles Escobar's grounder, and he strands another base runner. That's 7 left on base in the first 4 innings for the Nats. He's keeping it close. Mets down 1-0. beautiful aerial shot. We are all over the place tonight.
Nice.
MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live on demand in true HD, real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Did you say widget?
Widget.
Like economics, macroeconomics, first year when you learn about widgets?
Okay, now in economics, a widget is a fanciful product.
That's right.
But now a widget is something that is like an app.
Oh. The world's just passing me by, Gary.
Well, so let's go to our younger member, because he might have more of an insight. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Never took that in college, guys. Don't have any insight on that. I do have insight on Michael Kadire, who just strikes out right there. But take a quick look at his bat. You may have noticed that he uses a heck of a lot of pine tar on his bat, but it actually has nothing to do with gripping the bat. It's all about making sure that he puts the pine tar right below the barrel of the bat so that he can visualize exactly where he wants to hit the baseball. That's why he uses a light-colored bat as well, because it's a big contrast between the pine tar and the barrel of the bat.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
I've never heard that before. You know why I use pine tar on the bat? Because it looked cool. Because I very rarely made contact, so never was thinking about barreling up anything or making good contact. But you went up there, no batting gloves, pine tar on your bat. You almost look like a hitter at least.
Did you use the donut and the on deck circle?
Oh, I did the whole thing.
Did you use the sledge? They had the sledgehammer when you were there?
I used to look into the crowd like I was a hitter, the whole thing. Yeah, I see, everything.
Now, here's the most important thing. Now, because most pitchers won't do this. For the day games, did you wear the eye black?
No,
because that was the coolest thing around.
Nolan Ryan used to wear eye black when he pitched for the Los Angeles Angels.
Murphy drops one into right center, and that falls for a base hit. It's Murph's second hit off a left-hander this season, and the Mets' fourth hit tonight.
Well, remember Murph, when he was really struggling, was really flailing at this pitch away. Okay, he doesn't get it right on the barrel, but he stays in long enough to muscle it out to right field. That ball's almost on the ground, and he's still able to get a base hit out of it. Let's go with that bat. I should say California Angels when Nolan was with him. But he used to wear it because the sun would come over the stadium and shine right in his eyes. I mean, you don't have to be any more menacing than Nolan Ryan at 100 miles an hour with eye black.
Well, especially back in those days when he was still a little wild.
That's right. And maybe it's a Texas thing, because Roger Clemens tried to do it when he was with the Red Sox in Oakland in the day game in the postseason, and he got thrown out by Joe Brinkman. With Terry Cooney, yeah, that's right. Threw him out. So he didn't have it on long.
Well, it wasn't for wearing the eye black. Here's a good curveball by Gonzalez. 1-2 to Dilson Herrera, who struck out looking at a curveball his first time up.
Well, that's just such a good breaking pitch from Gio Gonzalez. It reminds me so much of another 47. The Mets' Jesse Orozco had that kind of breaking ball.
Yeah, check swing foul. Well, we showed the arm angles of John Neese earlier. Let's look at Gio.
Well, Gio, this is his fastball, so you can see it's that three-quarter kind of action. Just like John, when he goes to the curveball, he gets a little higher and turns that wrist inward. And the changeup, just like John, they both try to turn the ball over, and they both do it by dropping their arm angle just a little.
Herrera strikes out on the fastball away. That's 5 strikeouts now for Gio Gonzalez. And for Herrera, that's 4 strikeouts in his first 5 at-bats.
And that ball was right by him. That ball was supposed to be in, but really Gio just threw it right by Herrera.
So 2 out. Murphy still at first, and now Ruben Tejada. So we've seen with both pitchers a bit of a drop in the arm angle on that changeup, which I think is fascinating.
Well, I think what happens for most pitchers The real good changeup, Santana, Glavine, the way they got it to go down is they got on top of it, and with that grip, just turned it over just a little bit. Guys whose changeup aren't great, and Gio and Jonathan Nice have a changeup, it's not a great changeup, they drop their arm angle and try to turn it over. So instead of being on top of it and with that grip and turning it late, on top, turning it late, they drop their arm angle and turn it over. And they do get some action on it, but it's not that late, beautiful action that Glavine and Santana have.
So is it a matter of changing your hand position to get the better action? And if so, why would you not go about it that way?
One of the things that happens to pitchers is that if they throw a pitch and they see it break, they're all excited. Boy, that really broke. If you can see it break, you know who else can see it break? The hitter can see it break. So really the best sinkers or changeups are the pitches that you throw that you can't see the break and the hitter can't see it either.
0-2 to Tejada, who had a base hit to right his first time up. And Gio dealing on the inside corner. Second time tonight he struck out 3 in an inning. And he gets himself through the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0 Washington. Gang from 5 to 9 on the Pix 11 Morning News, where every story hits home. Been a hard-working 4 innings for John Nice. Only 64 pitches, not a ton, but 8 base runners, 7 hits and a walk. He's stranded 7 of the 8. Gave up a scratch hit with 2 out in the second to Michael Taylor that drove in the game's only run.
Pitches under duress, I guess they call it in today's game.
Jason Worth 1 for 2, and he takes below the knees for ball 1. Worth, Harper, and Zimmerman 3, 4, and 5 in the order against Nice, who has had traffic in every inning. And change up in for a strike, 1-1. And you see the pitching comparison. More strikeouts for Gonzalez, more work for Nice.
Gio in the zone.
Is that his mantra? Murphy with the running play gets Worth for the first time.
You know, we've been showing you the curveballs of Gio and Jonathan Nice. First, Jonathan Nice. Look at their thumb. See the thumb of Jonathan Nice? It's sticking off the ball. That's why his action kind of has more of a rolling kind of action as a curveball. The one that's tighter is when you tuck that thumb. See his thumb? It's tucked right on that seam. So you get 2 pieces of action. You get that middle finger pulling and you get the thumb pushing. And when you get that, you got tighter spin.
Are some pitchers not capable of getting that push with their thumb?
Well, I'll tell you, I know this for a fact only because of an injury that I suffered. When I broke my thumb in '87, I had had a good curveball before then, and once I broke my thumb, I could no longer cup my thumb under the curveball, and it became a roller instead of a really good pitch.
Harper has walked and grounded out 0 for 1. And there's the curveball from Nice, a ball and a strike.
Well, I'll use that as an excuse for a mediocre career for the rest of my life, I guess. It's interesting when you're used to gripping a baseball a certain way and you can't anymore.
Harper cranks one deep but foul. That is way back in the Pepsi porch.
Again, another breaking ball left on the inner part. Remember Keith's been describing about Harper how he kind of flails back towards first base with his body. Well, if you're going to throw the inside breaking ball, that's the middle of the plate.
That's about their greatest success, working Harper away. Although looking at some numbers today, Harper has actually been more successful on the pitch away this year than he's been in the past. Maybe one of the reasons he's off to a good start.
I'd like to know the speed of pitch away.
Right. Yeah, that's an interesting point, because a lot of times they'll show the hot zones for a hitter, but they won't show you what pitch they're hot on in a given spot, only the location. And that does make a difference. Another full count for Nice. And Harper takes a call, third strike, and begs to differ.
He's telling the umpire, Dan Bellino, no way that ball's on the plate. But he gave him a little pat on the back as he left, so.
Let's take a look.
It could have went either way. See, the overhead will show the pitch. It's off the plate. I know we say it all the time, too close to take, but these hitters are so good sometimes, they take them because they know it's off the plate.
And you know what? Harper leads the league in walks for a reason, through his 24th tonight.
What did they used to say about Ted Williams? They'd say the umpires wouldn't call a strike because he didn't swing at it. Must have been off the plate.
Ryan Zimmerman's hit the ball hard twice tonight. Line to center, single to center. And again, Nice in search of his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. And it's eluded him to this point. But when you consider that in the 3 games prior to last night, the Nats had scored 34 runs. Nats have done well to hold them down the last game and a half. No runs last night, 1 run tonight. To his right, Herrera on the backhand. Nicely done for the third out, and Nice has his first 1-2-3 inning. Halfway through, 1-0 Nats. Traffic moving well. Cardinals, we mentioned. Matt Carpenter, the walk-off sacrifice fly. Brewers got a rare win. The Giants win 5-4. Great outing for Tim Hudson. The game ended with the tying run at third. Runner hit by a batted ball for the last out.
Oh, wow.
How about that? Dan Herron, 6 scoreless innings for the Marlins. The Reds leading the Braves. And you see the late games, Arizona at L.A.
Now, how do you score that? That's a base hit for the hitter,
right,
and the putout goes to the closest fielder?
Second baseman in this game. I mean, that's crazy, right? Well, the game to end that way.
They got their blankie.
54 degrees. And going down. Should be a sparkling day tomorrow. Should be in the upper 70s. Perfect day for a day game. 1-1 to Recker. Took a call, third strike his first time up. This is as good a pop on his fastball I think we've seen from Gio Gonzalez in a while.
And the placement inside too to the right-handed hitters has been very sharp. There's one right there.
Gio last September struck out a career high 12 against the Mets, and he's got 6 strikeouts in 4 innings tonight. He finished strong last year. He went on the disabled list. Remember, May and June he had a little shoulder problem, and he was good down the stretch to finish 10-10. There you see his numbers with Oakland and then with Washington.
Had that big year in 2012, but he won 21 games, only lost 8 with the Nats.
Wraps that curveball around the plate, and it's 3-2. Well, that was the year the Nats went to the postseason and lost in the first round of the Cardinals. Got back to the postseason last year and went out in the first round again. And there's ball 4, and Recker's on with a leadoff walk. First time the Mets have had the leadoff man on tonight. Second walk for Gio. That's that big year in 2012.
Great ERA. He's always had a lot of walks. Walks are something he has to pitch around most of his career, but he does strike out a lot of batters also.
So the Mets with the tying run at first. A chance for Neese to try and bunt him over. John looking for his first sacrifice of the season. Struck out his first time up tonight. And takes a strike.
Have you noticed one thing that the Mets pitchers have been doing this year as a group that's different? They're turning around and squaring earlier. As soon as the pitcher is ready to go, they are turning around and getting that bat right in the zone. They didn't do that last year.
And Neese takes 2 fastballs to fall behind in the count. A little upset with himself. And Neese pulling the bat back for a little butcher boy. 1-2. I mentioned John's got a couple of hits and 2 RBIs this year, and he's got the third baseman Escobar coming down his throat. Now he's backing up a few strides.
I think that's going to result in a curveball here by Gonzalez. He doesn't want to take any chances.
And he does throw the curve and gets the strikeout. 7th strikeout of the night as Neese couldn't get the job done.
See what happens if you're a pitcher and the pitcher does the butcher boy, takes the bunt back and looks like he's going to hit. Then you're thinking to yourself, oh, he might be swinging on 2 strikes, so I'll throw a pitch I know he's not going to be able to hit.
Do you always know the pitcher can't hit the curveball?
Very few can. You know, it's just, you just don't see enough of them, especially lefty-lefty.
Third time around the batting order now, John Mayberry, who lined out to left his last time up, 0 for 2. Recker at first and 1 out. Mayberry takes a strike. Well, the Nats added to an already strong rotation when they signed Max Scherzer, who leads the league in ERA despite a 1-3 record. But the other guys have been underwhelming so far.
We'll take a look at the All-Star break and we'll see where those numbers are. You know they're going to get better. But Zimmerman had one big bad outing. That's why his ERA is high. Strasburg hasn't found his niche yet. Gio had a bad outing in his last start. So did Pfister, whom the Mets will see tomorrow. There's Strasburg, who struggled and then thrived here in the opening game of the series. Pfister's like the right-handed Mark Burley. No one works any quicker than Doug Pfister. Juan Lagares waits on deck.
so far this year. The Mets starters have outpitched the Nats starters. One of the reasons the Mets are 16-8 and the Nats are 10-14.
The Mets have outpitched most starting staffs in baseball.
And you see that walk to strikeout ratio. The Mets staff in April had a 4.1 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio, best of any month in Mets history.
It's the best I've ever seen. I mean, their starters routinely will go 6-7 innings with no more than one walk, and a lot of times no walks. Well, Harvey had one yesterday.
One.
Yep.
7 innings. Neese has walked 1 so far tonight.
Harvey's got to be happy. He's coming off a win yesterday, and his Rangers won this afternoon.
And he was there.
Oh, he was.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Living a dream.
2-2 to Mayberry. And the changeup in for a call, third strike. 8th strikeout for Gio Gonzalez.
Well, we were mentioning before the height of John Mayberry. I believe he thinks this ball is down. But Gio gets the call from Dan Bellino.
Very good pitch.
Yeah, it is a good pitch.
So 2 out. Recker's still at first. And now Juan Lagares. By the way, you mentioned Mark Burley a moment ago. Burley and Gio Gonzalez are in a small class together with 3 other guys. Pitchers who've won 10 or more in the last 5 years, left-handers. There are only 5 of them. Gio, Burley, David Price, Clayton Kershaw, C.J. Wilson. Only 5 lefties who've won 10 or more each of the last 5 years.
That's lined to the right center, base hit for Lagares. Recker's going to turn second. He's going to try for third. Taylor's throw is offline, and down to second goes Lagares. Recker with some aggressive base running.
I was talking to Terry Collins about this exact play because the Mets with 2 outs have been going from first to third, even when they have runners who don't run fast. First, Lagares just keeps on getting multi-hit games. But what they've been doing with 2 outs, what is the play for the center fielder? Every single time you throw the ball to second base to keep the force in order. So that's why Recker went to third. Taylor had a play on him, but it's the wrong play by the center fielder. And Lagares heads up.
That puts the go-ahead run into scoring position. So a big chance for Duda, who has hit the ball well twice tonight. A double to left, a fly ball to the left field wall. And the curveball up and away for ball 1. So Gonzalez in a tight spot here. He's facing a left-hand hitter. He's got Kadire, a right-hand hitter on deck. He's got first base open, but Duda has controlled the at-bat so far tonight.
You got to pitch to Duda, though, because Kadire has great numbers off him also.
And Duda breaks his back. Grounds 1 for the second baseman Espinosa, and that retires the side.
So Gonzalez gets the out that he desperately needs to keep the Mets off the board. After 5, 1-0 Nats. MLB Network. After the game, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sunday. John Deese has kept his team in the game through 5 innings despite giving up 7 hits. Retired the side in order in the 5th. Now will take on Wilson Ramos to start the 6th. Both teams have had their chances. Gio Gonzalez working out of a 2nd and 3rd jam to get Duda to end that bottom of the 5th. Ramos today has struck out and singled to center, 1 for 2.
I've said this before, but Ramos always brings a smile to my face when he comes to the plate. It reminds me of Andres Galarraga, his stance.
Well, Galarraga is a national hero in Venezuela, which is where Ramos is from.
I'm sure when he was a younger kid, he copied that stance.
Ian Desmond on deck, and then Danny Espinosa. So my question to you would be, and neither one of us knows the answer to this. At this point, who is a bigger legend in Venezuela? Andres Galarraga or Johan Santana?
That's a tough call. That's a tough call. Both royalty.
Yeah. From different parts of the country.
That's right.
That's lined to the left. Another hit for Ramos. Kadire gets over there and cuts it off, and Ramos will stop at first. Another 2-hit game for Wilson Ramos against the Mets.
Well, there's the breaking ball right over the middle of the plate, heart of the plate for Ramos. They've done a good job, the Nationals, of identifying that curveball, putting good swings on it.
Second time tonight they've gotten the leadoff man on. Now Ian Desmond, who has scored the only run of this game after breaking an 0 for 29 slump with a base hit in the 2nd. And that's a good curveball by Nice. Gets him to swing over the top.
Now, I like this curveball better. It's one that starts on the knees and bends out. Jonathan, when he first came up, he had a big curveball and it was sharper. But I think they've worked over time, the evolution of that pitch. It's gotten a little tighter. But I don't know if it has the same good rotation as he did before. It might be just arm speed. It certainly doesn't throw as hard as he did. Who does after 5-6 seasons?
Oh, 2 to Desmond. And he slams one foul. Well, Nice this year has gotten 56% of his outs on the ground, which is the highest percentage of his career. When you get in a spot like this, trying to pitch a little deeper into the game, you so need a ground ball to get a double play.
Gets the ground ball, but it sneaks through. A seeing eye hit for Ian Desmond.
And the Nats have 2 men on. Past the pitcher and right between the infielders. You can't place it any better.
They've worn out that hole up the middle. Watch Jonathan Nice fall to the third base side. See how that leaves that pit place right over the mound exposed. If he gets in a good fielding position, he might be able to make that play.
He actually got his glove on that ball, and had he not, it might have been playable. Don't know about that.
Well, again, another ball that glances off a glove of a Mets player for a hit.
A game of millimeters tonight, as it's quite a tableau right there.
Yes.
Great effort to no end.
So 2 men on. Danny Espinosa, who's already 2 for 2, is coming to the plate. Mets will get their bullpen cranking now behind Nice. There's an 86 pitches on the night. He's given up 9 hits. They've all been singles, and only 1 has been cashed. Ansel Robles is up in the Mets bullpen.
Well, I'm sure Danny Warthen informed him. Danny Espinosa loves to swing the bat, loves to be aggressive, and when guys are on base, he gets even more aggressive. So you have to be careful with the first pitch.
It's only the 4th pitch he's seen tonight. Hit the first pitch his first time up off the glove of Murphy for a hit, and hit an 0-1 pitch into right field for a base hit in the 4th. Gio Gonzalez on deck. – 1 This is Espinosa's natural side of the plate. He's a switch hitter who gave up switch hitting this spring. Batted exclusively right-handed, but then when the season started, readopted left-hand hitting, has done a pretty good job with it. But this is the side he'd prefer to hit from. And he's got power from both sides.
That ball's right there, and Bellino missed the pitch. He saw that Recker was standing up, wanting the ball up. Well, then he came back down, and the pitch is right there. That should be a strike 3.
So you can't throw more of a strike than that.
You know, is Recker with that big body blocking Bellino? I don't know, but.
Needs us to try again now. 1-2 to Espinosa. And he goes up and away, and Recker wasn't sure he had it. Maybe Anthony was thinking about Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, that's right. He said he could beat him up.
He
right?
said he'd knock him out. Well, he's got about 80 pounds on Floyd.
He might have 80 pounds. You know what 3 minutes in a round is like? Mayweather run around for a couple of rounds. By that time, he'd be leaning on the ropes, doing his version of the rope-a-dope.
Well, maybe it depends what rules they're playing. You know, maybe if it's no holds barred.
Marquis of Queensberry is the only ones we used.
2-2 to Espinosa.
Slammed down to third. Murphy on the backhand gets up to second, reaching Herrera. He came off the bag, and everybody's safe. Quite a stop by Murphy that saved at least a run, keeping it from going down the line. But the throw just a little bit wide for Herrera.
Well, nice play by Murph from the backhand. Strong, hard throw. I thought that Herrera stayed on the bag. It'll be interesting to see if the Mets try to challenge this, because it looked like his foot just scraped across the top of the bag.
And Terry Collins is going to challenge. Don't know if we have a definitive angle that shows that he stayed on the bag, but there's every chance that he did, and that's a huge call. It's either bases loaded, nobody out if the call stands, or first and third, one out with the pitcher coming up.
I know this is going back in Mets lore, but the Omir Santos game in Fenway, where David Wright made a similar play through to second base and Luis Castillo stayed on the bag. That looked like the same exact play.
That was the Papelbon running out of the dugout play. And, what was that, 2008 or 9?
9, I believe. See, Murph, the one thing throwing, he was kind of leaning back, but still, good throw under duress. And it's very hard to see. Oh, there we go. This might give you a chance. Ball's in the glove now. That foot's on the bag.
I think that might be the angle that gets it for him, because that toe appears to be on the bag when the ball goes in the glove.
Come on.
Ball for the second base umpire, Tom Hallion, because he got the runner coming in there and getting in the way. Play under review brought to you by Mazda, KBB.com's lowest cost to own brand over the last 5 years.
Come on, Park Avenue. Don't want to put too much pressure on you, but that looks like a good play there.
That would appear to be the definitive angle.
Yeah.
If they're going to overturn the call.
They've shown it on the board, too.
By the way, great athleticism by Herrera.
Great.
To make that even close. And they're going to overturn it. So the Mets challenge successfully for the second straight night. A terrific play by Murphy and an equally good one by Herrera. And a good call by the Mets video coordinator. And it all worked to get an out.
You really have to watch here, because a lot has happened. Everyone's thinking about the replay, thinking about other stuff. Perfect time to put on a suicide squeeze.
Yeah, Ramos, though, at third, is not particularly fast.
The Mets are hip to it. You can see Records come out there. Terry Collins pointing to his eyes saying, look, make sure that we're paying attention.
Gio's already got 2 bunts down in this game. And he pushes the bunt. Runner holds at third. Nice goes to Herrera to get the out. So it's another sacrifice for Gonzalez. Ramos holds at third.
It's a nice little play there, because if the bunt gets past Nice and in between Nice and Duda, Ramos can maybe make a decision to go. He doesn't have enough speed, though. But nice job by Gonzalez all night long.
And the other part is he's following Murph down the line, so that if the bunt goes that way and Murph has to handle the ball, maybe he can come in and score.
Just a tough pitch just to get it down. See, Murph, that's a good job. Just keep backing up. Make sure that he can't come down the line with you.
So now 2 out, 2 in scoring position. Michael Taylor takes low and inside. Taylor's driven in the only run of this game with an infield hit that just ticked off Murphy's glove in the second inning. Ramos now at third and Espinosa at second with 2 out. The Nats have already stranded 7 tonight. And Nice trying to strand 2 more.
Taylor hits it sharply. Nice backhand by Tejada. The long throw on a hop. Scooped up by Duda. Side retired. Tejada from deep in the hole, and Duda with a terrific scoop. And Nice able to turn aside the Nats again.
Dealer. One more game in this series tomorrow afternoon. That'll be on SNY. 1 o'clock start. Dylan G against Doug Fister. Then a couple of off days wrapped around the 2-game series against the defending American League East champion Orioles. Bartolo Colon opens that series Tuesday night. Then the Mets go to Philly for 3 and Chicago for 4.
Fan of the Oriole logo?
The cartoon bird? Yeah, I like it.
Is that one of the best? Yeah, one of the best in baseball.
Now, Keith would tell you it's not the best bird in baseball.
Of course.
He likes the ones on the bat. Michael Kadire takes a strike. In fact, the Cardinals and their birds on the bat will be in here on the next homestand.
With the Milwaukee Brewers.
Who, according to reports, have made it known to the other 29 teams that everybody's available.
Fire sale.
They're 6-18 after their win today.
You know, you think to yourself, how can you consider that so early in the season? This didn't start this year. It started last year in the second half. They had a huge lead and just kind of withered at the end.
Mike Fiers got his first win of the year today. He was enormous for them the second half of the year last year.
I was interested to see how he would do this year because, you know, he is the one that hit Giancarlo Stanton in the face.
It's a good 3-1 changeup for Gio Gonzalez to fill the count to Kadire.
Gio's got it all working tonight. I don't know when I've ever seen him throw a 3-1 changeup.
Murphy on deck, Herrera behind him. Mets looking to scratch against Gonzalez. And Kadire dribbles one about 6 inches. And Kadire is claiming it was a foul ball, but the home plate umpire Bellino called it fair. And Terry Collins is going to come out to argue.
You know, the line gets rubbed out there that's in front of where Kadire was hitting. And he's saying that the line is not there, but that ball was on the other side of the line. Bellino saying no. No argument from Terry.
And it's not a challengeable call.
No. See the line? It's blurred out. By the time he picks it up, I think it was on the other side of the line, too. It's almost in the batter's box. Had that backspin on it.
Well, Kadire started to run, but then he was looking back at it and decided to tail off, and he got tagged out by Ramos, so it's 2 unassisted on the putout. Daniel Murphy 1 for 2 tonight. Had a base hit to right center his last time up. That's with 5 hits. The Nats with 9. Another tightly contested game. Different feel to this game, though, than last night. Last night it was 1-0 at this point, but yet 2 guys dominating on the mound. Different story tonight. The East has been surviving, and Gio is blown hot and cold. But that's the way it usually goes for these two. Murphy pops one up, and Ramos can't quite get to it. Well, Daniel's #1 fan is in the house tonight.
I like the cutout. Very nice.
That's cute.
You know, I was thinking about that ball by Kadire. That's what replay has done to this game. Every single play that we used to just take as matter of fact, we're putting 2 eyeballs on it. Everything.
I am so ambivalent about that.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we're getting all the calls right.
Well, we're not getting all the calls right.
Well,
but I know what you're saying.
At least that's what we're trying to do. But it has really diminished some of the most exciting moments in the game. Anytime there's a great play, you have to wait to see if it counts. And the same thing has happened in football.
That's right. That's right.
And I think from a fan in the stands perspective, I wonder how that plays for the average fan.
I'll tell you exactly what happens. As soon as the play happens,
curveball fouled off.
They're so excited. They're hugging the guy or girl they came to the game with. They're jumping up and down. The Mets just threw the guys threw the guy out at home. Oh, wait a minute. You know they're going to challenge. And then they kind of quit their embrace and they look up at the board and they wait the 4 to 5 minutes.
It comes under the heading of what hath we have wrought.
Yes.
2-2. Pulled foul. Turn it back here for Murphy. Nothing else that has served to elevate Gio's pitch count. He's about to throw his 90th pitch of the night. Gonzalez has walked 2. He's struck out 8. And he's held the Mets at bay to this point. 8th pitch of the at-bat to Murphy. And he wastes another one.
Remember, Scherzer had 10 strikeouts last night. So against this national staff, you're going to get some punch-outs.
The Mets came into this series with the 2nd fewest strikeouts in the National League. They now have the 7th fewest through the first 2 games after facing Strasburg and Scherzer. Again, the 2-2, and Murphy continues on. 9 pitches deep and still going.
It's almost like Gio is saying, okay, you keep fouling it off, I'm going to keep throwing it. I'm going to throw one by it before we figure this thing out.
Murph has done well over the years against Gio. 7 for 19, including his hit tonight. 10th pitch of the at bat on the way, and Murphy will see an 11th.
These are fun to watch for me anyway. I love when a pitcher has got a hitter and he almost gets stubborn. It's like, you know what? You keep fouling it off. I'm going to keep coming there. You show me you can put it in play. And Murphy on his side, what a great at bat.
2-2 coming again. And the curveball bounced down to first. Zimmerman waits on it. And Gonzalez wins that battle on the 11th pitch. Dilson Herrera, who's been up twice and struck out twice, looking in the second, swinging in the fourth.
And he hasn't taken one comfortable swing yet. Gio has completely fooled him with his assortment of pitches. He's struck him out in a fastball his last time up, and he struck him out in a curveball.
Dilson, who made his debut in the big leagues last September, still the youngest position player currently in the big leagues. There are two younger players, and they're both pitchers in Toronto. Miguel Castro and Roberto Osuna are both 20 years old.
Miguel Castro's their closer, right?
That's the amazing.
Wow.
20-year-old closer. Herrera lays off the changeup 1-1.
Gio wants a new ball. There's a day when you used to pitch, if the ball was thrown in the dirt, you keep it because you take a look at it. If you had the right scuff mark on it, you could use it to your advantage against the hitter. But they throw all those balls out now.
Yeah, catchers who used to, before they threw the ball back, would lean the ball into the dirt and get some mud on it for you.
I remember I pitched a game in Houston. I won't name who the pitcher was. You can assume who it was. And the game went less than 2 hours because I only threw one pitch because there was a tiny mark on the ball when I would go out to the mound.
Curveball, chop, tough play. In comes Espinosa. Can't make the bare hand. Herrera takes the turn. He's trying for second. Desmond's throw, and Espinosa tags him out. Well, with 2 out, Herrera takes a calculated gamble, but comes up empty. They'll get a base hit out of that, but thrown out trying to stretch it into a 100-foot double. And that's how the inning ends for the Mets. Desmond on the retrieval. Espinosa gets back to the bag to make the tag. Still 1-0 Nats after 6. Just in case you were wondering if it really was a circle.
It is. I'll be there later tonight. A buddy of mine is sponsoring the fight. I'm going to go watch it later.
Line score brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Yunel Escobar leads off the 7th against John Neese. Escobar 0 for 3 tonight. 2 groundouts and a strikeout. The Nats have stranded 9. They scored the only run in the second inning. There were 3 hits in that inning. All 3 went off Met gloves. None of them should have been caught, but they all came close to being caught. He's behind in the count 2-0. He's only walked 1 tonight. And Escobar grounds 1 foul. And nicely by Bob Henley. That's third base coach. Big crowd gathered on Jacob deGrom Garden Gnome night.
That's a nice shot right there. You know what that reminds me of?
I do.
You do, right?
Mm-hmm. Herrera throws out Escobar one away. 2006, right?
No. Oh, with 2006?
When you had the.
Yes.
You went down the aisles?
Yes, because when they closed Shea, it was different. We came out of the right field and left field. Yeah, when it was celebration of the '86 team, we came through the aisles and shook people's hands, and they clapped you on the back. It was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
I believe that was when you resorted to Yiddish. Describe yourself as verklempt.
I had never said that word ever in public, and I said it on live TV. You never know what you're going to say. I'm telling you.
Jason Worth 1 for 3 tonight. Single to right back in the first. Grounded out twice since. Neese about to throw his 100th pitch of the night. And he gets a letter high strike, and it's 0-2. Neese has thrown as many as 106 pitches in a game this year. It was against the Braves 2 starts back. Bryce Harper on deck. 0-2 to Worth. And this is upstairs. Let's keep the bullpen busy behind Neese. This will certainly be his last inning if whether he's able to finish it or not. 1-2. And now an even count to Worth. 2-2. So Robles, who was up in the last inning, getting ready again.
I have to say Robles is ready for probably Zimmerman, right? I think Neese will get both Worth and then the lefty on lefty matchup with Harper.
Well, Terry Collins has seen Neese in a lot of trouble tonight, but most of it John has been equal to. His last 5 starts at Citi Field, he has a 1.41 ERA, and he's certainly done his job tonight of keeping the Mets right in this game.
Well, as you get deeper and deeper into the season, maybe not with Harvey because of coming off an injury, but as you get deeper into the season, the strength of this ball club is the starting pitching. So you want them out there as long as you can keep them out there. 110, 115, that might be the number now.
Brian Chicolo, the assistant trainer, right between DeGrom and Harvey, he's looking for FaceTime.
Smart guy.
Shameless.
Smart guy.
Nice job, Chick.
Swing and a miss. Got him with the off-speed breaking ball. Strikeout number 5 for John Neese.
Interesting how pitching works. His best breaking ball all night comes in the 7th inning. Ball down in the strike zone. We've seen it have much more life and much more bite down for Jonathan.
So 2 out and nobody on.
As Neese looks to finish his night on a high note, taking on Bryce Harper, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. And Harper fouls one off his leg, 0-1. He's looking for a 1-2-3 inning. He's had one of those all night. Look at those ground ball outs, though. That has been huge for him this year. He's had some ground balls find holes tonight, but got 13 outs on the ground, much like Dylan G in his last start. That's driven to right center. Overcomes Mayberry. Side retired. Strong outing for John Neese. 7 terrific innings, but the Mets are run shy as they come to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Home 7th inning, Mets down 1-0. Ruben Tejada leads off against Gio Gonzalez. Tejada has one of the Mets' 6 hits tonight. Also made a very important play to get the final out of the 6th inning when the Nats had 2 in scoring position. Ruben getting a spot start tonight. 6th time he started this year. And Gonzalez falls behind him 2-0. Anthony Recker on deck, then the pitcher's spot. Mets have 3 right-handed bats in the dugout tonight: Campbell, Flores, and Plawecki.
Good pitch to hit here for Tejada. Does not want to walk him. This will be a fastball down the middle.
And a borderline strike, 2-1.
He was wrong. He hit a corner. That's what happens when you're shutting out a team. Even when you're behind, you hit a corner.
100 pitches now for Gio, so the Nats have the bullpen going. And Tejada takes high, 3-1. Gonzalez has walked 2 tonight. He struck out 8. And they've got the left-hander Matt Grace and the right-hander Aaron Barrett up in the Washington pen. 3-1 coming to Tejada. And Ruben fouls off the fastball, 3-2. Record to follow. Campbell has a batting helmet on in the Mets dugout. Might see him as a pinch hitter. 3-2 coming. And that's in there for a call, 3rd strike, and Tejada flips the bat in annoyance. 9 strikeouts for Gio Gonzalez, and another borderline call.
Yeah, we saw the one against Worth. That was a high pitch that was called by Bellino. He has been calling that high fastball for a strike.
That's not a strike.
No, I can see where Tejada wouldn't.
That pitch is not a strike.
It's never usually called a strike.
No. Rule book maybe, but not in practice. So 1 out, and now Recker, who struck out and walked tonight, 0 for 1. Campbell out on deck to pinch hit.
Gio still throwing hard here in the 7th, isn't he? 93 miles an hour.
Cool night.
Perfect
52 degrees.
Pitch, yeah. Recker is always in a Mets uniform, had the flair for the dramatic. 14 home runs total in his career. 10 of them have tied the game and put the Mets ahead. 5 of 7 last year.
Recker not happy about that call. It's 2-2. 107 pitches for Gio. That matches his season high. Carlos Torres getting ready in the Mets bullpen as the Mets get set to pinch hit for Nice in a moment. 2-2 coming. And Recker launches one to left, but it's playable for Worth. The fans remembering last night, hoping that Worth would mess up another one, but not this time. 2 out. So now it's Campbell, who had been playing 3rd base every day until last night. Made 15 straight starts at 3rd. His bat cooled off. That's called up Dilson Herrera to take his spot, move Murphy over to 3rd. And now Campbell getting a pinch hitting assignment. Eric hitting a 204. This is Campbell's first pinch hitting plate appearance this year. So Nice out of the game after 7 very good innings. He had a lot of traffic to work around. Little dribbler. Gio diving for it from his knees, throws him out. Good play by Gio Gonzalez to end the bottom of the 7th. So Gonzalez with 7 shutout innings under his belt and helping himself out with some defense. Flat on it. hits for the Nats, but they've left 9 on base. They lead 1-0 as we start the 8th. And Carlos Torres, who has been struggling lately, comes on.
Well, his outing 4 days ago was not good. A couple of walks as he took the loss and giving up a run in Miami.
Walk 2, and then Michael Morse snuck one up the middle for what turned out to be a game-winning hit. Gio Gonzalez going down the tunnel. His night's work probably done after 109 pitches. Ryan Zimmerman leads off against Carlos Torres and takes inside. Zimmerman 1 for 3 tonight, single to center back in the 3rd. So John Neese goes 7, allows 1 run, 9 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Good enough to win on most nights, but not tonight. And Neese, through 5 starts this year, now has a season's earned run average of 1.87. So after the poor outing against the Yankees last Sunday, he bounced back nicely, although he had to really dig in to do it.
You could go to 2-2 if the Mets don't come back here.
Well, he's pulling a Scherzer right now.
Yeah. You know, Carlos's arm has just been dragging behind him. Last year, when he would let the ball go, because he's got that natural cutting action, everything was in front of him. His arm is just dragging a little behind him. That's why the ball doesn't have the sharp break that it had, sharp and late break that it had last season so far.
So do you think that's strictly a mechanical thing, or could it be a fatigue thing?
I think it's a mechanical thing because the speed of the pitch is still about the same. So he's still throwing the ball like he threw it last year. But the only way to get life on the pitches that he throws is to let that ball out front.
Little tapper. Torres off the mound and throws out Zimmerman one away, because you always have trepidation with a pitcher who throws as many innings in relief as Torres did last year.
You do, and I think what you can do is you watch his delivery, which is so important. Sometimes he starts to try to get that break behind his head. He really needs to get that ball, that hand even with his head, and then start the finger pressure off that middle finger. That has, I think, been the only difference. But that being said, Gary, I think because of the starting pitching, he won't pitch that many innings this year if used correctly.
Sean Gilmartin up in the Mets bullpen as Wilson Ramos digs in, 2 for 3 tonight, and he pops one foul. That'll come out of play.
I mean, the Mets were so strapped. They pitched him. He started him after he'd relieved the day before. So no day's rest.
Right. Pitched 5 terrific innings in that start.
That shouldn't happen this year.
Well, it would certainly help the Mets if they could get their rehabbing right-handers back. But Vic Black and Bobby Parnell do not appear to be on the immediate horizon.
And what I don't like, although with Vic, I think it's been the same thing. It's just been talked about in different ways. You know, it's been talked about as a shoulder, but it really was a neck. But with Bobby, it's been a couple of different things. You know, which is hard. You don't want it to happen to a guy as talented as Parnell.
Well, they both came back and did some throwing this week, but they're kind of restarting the clock now. And Ramos goes down swinging on the curveball. Nice pitch by Torres for his first strikeout. And there are 2 out. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Ian Desmond, who came into the game in an 0 for 29 skid, but has a couple of hits tonight, and he scored the only run of this game in the 2nd inning. By the way, the red-hot Houston Astros up 10-4 on Seattle in the 7th tonight. The former Met Colin McHugh is in line for his 11th straight win.
They are mashing the baseball.
4 home runs tonight.
You know, watch Torres. Watch the strain that is put on the arm and the elbow when he tries to turn over this pitch. And people are wondering, why do pitchers injure their arms? Well, it's just such an unnatural motion and so difficult on your arm.
Out to right center, over in the gap, and Mayberry runs it down in front of Lagares for the 3rd out. 1-2-3 inning for Carlos Torres. Mets at the top of the order, coming up in the bottom of the 8th.
Good for them.
We've got to be good at
Good for
one
them.
sport.
Good
Come
for
on.
them.
Give us something.
I like it.
Mets in-game box score brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Mets have had just 6 hits tonight. Juan Lagares, the only Met with 2 hits. As they will look to break through against the Nationals bullpen as Aaron Barrett comes on to pitch in the 8th inning.
Well, he pitched in the game earlier in this series, and he hung a couple of curveballs and sliders. Mets hit him very hard, although he didn't give up anything.
Curtis Granderson is going to bat for John Mayberry with the right-hander in the game. Granderson getting the night off tonight. 1 for 3 last night. And he takes a strike from Barrett.
This is a team, the Nats, where Tyler Clippard, the last 5 seasons, would automatically be in this ball game. They're trying to find the next Clippard.
It was supposed to be Casey Janssen, but he hasn't pitched for the Nationals this year because of shoulder problems. Barrett gets a slider in for a strike. They've also lost Craig Stammen for the season to injury, so the Nats are still trying to figure out that bullpen in front of their closer, Drew Storen. Barrett ahead 0-2 on Granderson, and Curtis with a check swing foul. Well, that's what Clippard did the last 4 years with the Nats. He was such a consistent presence in the 7th and 8th innings.
Look at that whip. Look at innings pitched. A little blip with the ERA in 2012, but I mean, we watched him pitch too many times under pressure. He was fantastic.
Backdoor slider misses 1-2. Jordani Valdespin got him.
Yes, he did.
He's in AAA with the Marlins, Valdespin.
Is he? Yes.
Yeah. Saw him in spring training this year. He was up for a while.
He had a good spring.
Here's the 1-2. Off the plate with the fastball. 96 from Barrett. 2-2. Granderson has really been swinging the bat well lately. On base the last 12 games. Matt Grace, the lefty, getting ready for Lucas Duda. Two to Curtis. And it's popped up. Ramos looking for it. Escobar. Ramos stays with it and makes the play. 1 out.
You know, I know he's not fast, but Ramos is very athletic. That was a fine play to go that far without the mask, running with all that equipment, and made sure with 2 hands. Textbook.
So 1 out. Now Juan Lagares, who has 2 more hits tonight. Lagares, by the way, has now hit in all 13 home games for the Mets this year. It's the longest home hitting streak to start a season in Mets history. He had been tied with Kenny Singleton, who hit in the first 12 home games in 1970. So Lagares now has that record to himself, and he'd love to notch a 3rd hit in this at bat. With the 2 hits tonight, he's up to 316 on the year. Reaches for that fastball and fouls it back. 1-1.
1 out and a 1-0 lead. Look at the outfielders. Michael Taylor, he's almost in the apple in center field. Worth a few steps off the warning track. Harper on the off field is the only one a little short.
Lagares with just 4 extra base hits among his 31 hits this year. And almost all of his hits have been to center and to right.
Well, you're not going to hit that to center or right. That's a hard, good sinker from Barrett.
Duda on deck. The lefty Grace getting ready for him. 1-2. And Lagares just got a piece of that to stay alive. '27-year-old Aaron Barrett pitching to Lagares, and he just missed with the slider. 2-2.
Well, it's not too much to discover about Barrett. Everything is hard. Good hard fastball with a lot of movement and a hard biting slider.
2-2 to Lagares. Tied him up, but it missed inside. 3-2.
Breaking pitch 3-2.
Lagares has only walked 3 times this season. And he goes after a pitch out of the strike zone for the second out. Matt Williams going to make the pitching change. Will bring in the lefty to face Duda.
Well, you see that great grip, tight rotation, out of the strike zone, hard to lay off for any hitter.
So Barrett gets the job done, retires his 2 hitters. He'll hand it off to the lefty Grace. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Royal Caribbean. The only way to Caribbean is with Royal Caribbean. Mets down 1-0 in the 8th. We'll be right back. .26-year-old lefty Matt Grace makes his 6th big league appearance, comes in to face Lucas Duda, and throws a breaking ball in for a strike.
Well, started his professional career as a starting pitcher, converted to the bullpen, and his career has taken off. Good sinking action on his fastball and a slider. Those are the 2 pitches you'll see.
Matt Grace from UCLA facing Lucas Duda from USC.
Ooh.
Grace was Eric Goodell's teammate at UCLA.
Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole. Boy, it's some kind of staff.
Duda fights one off. 1-2. Lucas 1 for 3 tonight. He doubled down the left field line in the first. Hit one to the wall in left center that Worth caught in the 3rd, and then broke his bat and grounded out with 2 in scoring position in the 5th. All that against the lefty Gonzalez. Now facing the lefty Grace. 1-2. Right to the second baseman Espinosa on the outfield grass. And the Mets are done in the bottom of the 8th. They go 1-2-3. On to the 9th. 1-0 Washington.
The scoring, well, the play of the game brought to you by the Honda Dream Garage sales event now at your Honda dealer.
Sometimes those critical moments happen in the first inning. Worth to Desmond and throwing out Lagares easily at home plate. If not sent, it would have been second and third, one out, Kadire up. Who knows?
And with 2 out, that wouldn't have been a bad call, but with 1 out, probably a little aggressive, sending Lagares home. Curtis Granderson, who pinch hit, stays in the game in right field. Carlos Torres, who pitched a 1-2 3/8, stays on for the top of the ninth. Denny Espinosa turns around to bat left-handed for the first time tonight. Espinosa 2 for 3. He was almost 3 for 3. That's got a call overturned. A sharp ground ball that Murphy made a backhand play on, and Herrera somehow able to keep his foot on the bag at second to get a force. That was a key play for John Neese, that overturn. Otherwise, it would have been bases loaded, nobody out in that 6th inning. Clint Robinson has come out on deck to pinch hit as Drew Storen gets ready in the Nats bullpen. Torres gets that cutter in for a strike, 1-2. By the way, the Houston Astros have just hit another home run. They've hit 5 tonight. Wow. They lead Seattle 11-4. The Mariners have 4 home runs in that game, 2 for Nelson Cruz, who now has 13 to lead the majors. 11-4 Houston in the 8th, going for their 9th straight win. Up the middle to his left is Tejada. Nicely done. Low throw. Duda handles it. 1 out. Tejada's played a nice game at short tonight.
Well, we see some range here by Tejada. This ball looked like it was ticketed up the middle for a hit. He closed very quickly, and a good enough throw with Duda at first base to pick it for the out. He's had a couple of those scoops today. Just those short ones. First basemen will tell you those are the best kind, easiest. Most pitchers love to clap for their fielders. We've seen that. It started with Cologne.
Harvey did it a couple of times last night for Lagares and for Duda.
Here's Clint Robinson,
longtime minor leaguer, getting a chance with the Nats this year. Appeared as a pinch hitter in the opening game of the series and had a base hit.
He's one of those guys that in the minor leagues was just a home run hitter. And the hard part for these guys is they play it every day in AAA, and now they're on the bench, and can they still perform like they did in the minors?
Latter day Crash Davis.
There you go.
Or Mike Hessman, if you will.
Yes.
Snagged by Torres. 2 out. New York Mets baseball is brought to you by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. It's been a nice bounce back for Carlos Torres after that rough outing in Miami. 5 up and 5 down now for Carlos. And he'll take on Michael Taylor, who drove in the only run of this game back in the 2nd with an infield hit that just went off the glove of Daniel Murphy, who made a diving stop. Could not quite secure it as he and Desmond came home with the lone run of this game. Taylor 1 for 4. Had a chance to drive in a couple more runs in the 6th. 2nd and 3rd, 2 out, hit one in the hole, and Tejada made a nice play and threw him out.
This is the best that Torres has looked all, not even season long, spring training and April, and now into May.
Goes upstairs on Taylor, and it's 0-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, the Mets will have Kadire, Murphy, and Herrera due up against Drew Storen.
Struck him out on a curveball in the dirt. What a job by Carlos Torres. 6 up and 6 down with a couple of strikeouts. Now the Mets will try in their final turn at bat to yank this one out. Michael Kadire has homered in 2 of the last 3 games. He'll lead off for the Mets on the bottom of the 9th with the Mets trailing 1-0.
on Pix 11. That's the Mets and Phillies, Saturday, May 9th at 7 p.m. on New York's home for baseball, Pix 11. Veteran Drew Storen is on to try and save it for the Nats as we go to the bottom of the ninth with Washington leading 1-0.
Well, Storen last year, remember, Soriano had gotten the closer position, struggled for much of the year, got it back to Storen, who had 11 saves last year, and he's taken off with it. Changes mechanics a little bit, and he's been much sharper as the closer.
Struggled in the playoffs in 2012, had a bad year in 2013, rebounded last year. Michael Kadire leads off for the Mets in the bottom of the ninth. The Mets are the only National League team that has not been shut out yet this year. Kadire tonight 0 for 2 and a walk. And he goes after the slider well out of the strike zone, 0-1. This is a Mets team that has not swung at a lot of pitches out of the zone. They have tonight.
Davey Johnson used to always say, and that's a great slider, starts right in the middle, ends up 2 feet outside.
Slap to the right side. Zimmerman with a nice flag down, and he makes the play to Storen. One tough out.
Well, good at bat by Kadire. Hitting the ball that way. Better play by Zimmerman. New to the position. Runs that ball right over to Storen. I was saying that Davey Johnson used to always say, if you're going to have a championship year, you got to beat the other team's closer once in a while. This would be that once in a while.
Now it's Daniel Murphy, 1 for 3 tonight, 2 for 9 in his career against Storen. Mets have been limited to 6 hits tonight. And the slider in for a strike. That's only extra base hit tonight came in the first. That was Duda's double when Lagares got thrown out at the plate. Gio Gonzalez went 7, struck out 9. He's in line for the win. Murphy gets jammed and pops one up. And Ramos right there to grab it. 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the night, and it's left to young Dilson Herrera, who picked up his first hit of the season his last time up. A base hit that chopped to the right side. He tried to stretch it into an infield double and almost made it, but Desmond was able to recover it and throw him out. Herrera has home run power, hit 3 last year in his limited trial with the Mets. And he takes a slider for a strike. Mets haven't lost a 1-0 game in almost a year. Go back to Jacob deGrom's debut when he lost to the Yankees 1-0 May 15th last year.
Chase Whitley and a bunch of relievers, right?
Kirk Neuenhuis would be next, batting for Tejada if Herrera can keep it going. And that's at the knees for a strike, and now the Mets are down to their final strike. Aaron Barrett and Matt Grace combined to set the Mets down in the 8th. Storen trying to finish it off. 1-2. And Herrera lays off. Very close. 2-2.
That's one of those pitches you say, how can the hitter lay off that pitch? It's too close. You know why? It's too good. Late break, sharp, right on the corner.
Almost tried to hold it for Dan Bellino. Didn't get any satisfaction. Now the 2-2 coming to Herrera. Lofted to left. Worth is right there. And the ball game is over. The Nats beat the Mets 1-0. Gio Gonzalez outduels John Neese. Drew Storen gets the save. And the Nats have taken 2 of the first 3 in this series.
Well, you've seen some good pitching the last couple of nights. Last night with Harvey and Scherzer, and tonight Gio Gonzalez was on top of his game with 9 punch-outs. Jonathan Neese was very brave out there, had people on base the entire game, plowed through it, only giving up 1 run, but he got the losses. The Mets are struggling on the offense.
Well, the Mets shut out the Nats last night, and Washington turns the tide tonight as Gio Gonzalez gets his second win of the year and John Neese suffers a loss. Lowered his ERA to 1.87, but falls to 2-2 on the year. So the Nats have now won 16 of the last 18 meetings between these two teams at Citi Field.
In the past, Gary, it was usually the bludgeoning of the Nationals against the Mets with lots of home runs. It's not that way now. These games, I think, all year are going to be like this. Real close games, well-pitched games.
Game summary brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Mets are now 16-9 on the year, as Gio Gonzalez struck out 9 over 7 innings and held the Mets at bay. Neese was able to limit the Nats to just 1 run, but that one on an infield hit in the second was enough to beat them. 1-0 the final. Washington a winner over the Mets. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.